What's up, y'all? Anderson here to talk about Kishane Thompson, who recently announced, or it seems like it's announced, that he's going to be targeting the World Indoor Championships in Nanjing, China this year. And it's a really interesting development because I actually didn't think that he was going to be running indoors, but now it seems like Coach Steven Francis did confirm that he wants to take Kishane to the World Indoor Championships if he is healthy and if he actually does qualify. So this was first reported by CVM Television in Jamaica, and they said, quote, Olympic 100-meter silver medalist Kishane Thompson will compete at the World Indoor Championships, according to his coach, Steven Francis. And it kind of continues on with a few more pieces of context where it says, Thompson, who opened the season with a 6.48 seconds clocking over 60 meters outdoors in Kingston on January 18th, ran 6.58 in and 6.56 indoors at the Astana Indoor meeting in Kazakhstan a week later. So, as they noted, Kishane Thompson, 6.48 seconds down in Jamaica early in the season. That kind of set the world on fire considering it was extremely fast, right? 6'4" in any capacity, indoors or out, is a very fast time. Now, it was into a headwind, which really got everyone going about it. Maybe there was a little bit of a tailwind. You can kind of look at the race and see, but shout out to all the people who are down in Jamaica and can realize that there was swirling winds going back and forth at the track meet there. So who actually knows? But he did follow that up, go to Kazakhstan indoors. He eventually did run 6.58 in the heats and then 6.56 in the finals at the Astana World Indoor Tour meeting. And to me, that kind of did back up his 6.48 and at least justify that, listen, Kishane Thompson is very consistent. Kishane Thompson from 2024 has not lost a step, and he wants to make sure that he is going into 2025 on a very positive note, running these indoor 60-meter dash races. But CVM Television, they continue and say, quote, Francis says once the 23-year-old is healthy and selected for the team, he will compete in his first World Indoor Championships. The World Indoor Championships runs from March 21st to the 23rd. And of course, they do go down in Nanjing, China. And this is going to be pretty exciting. Now, what CVM TV is referencing is that Jamaica is actually holding a selection meet for the World Indoor Championships. And it's actually going down at GC Foster College. And this is going to be happening on March 1st. 2025. So just in about a week's time now. And this is really interesting because it's going to be happening outdoors as opposed to indoors, right? Jamaica doesn't have an indoor track facility that, is, eligible for qualifying purposes or anything like that, of course, in the United States or Europe, across the world like they have. They have their outdoor meets. That's where we've been seeing these 60-meter dash races. But this meet outdoors is going to be, used as a qualifying championship of sorts for Jamaica to see who can eventually, be selected for the World Indoor Championships. Now, in the past, Jamaica has not had an indoor championship qualifying meet. I think this might be the first time. Usually what they've done is they've selected their team based on performances throughout the indoor season, or, if they are one of the more high-quality athletes, they would use a previous performance or something like that. So this is going to be an interesting development, and I think it's interesting because they are running it outdoors versus indoors. Now, not all the athletes here are going to be trying to qualify for World Indoor Championships. Some of them just want to get another, meet on the calendar and, another race under their belt for 2025. But it's going to be interesting to see. So again, this is going down March 1st, 2025, GC Foster College. This will be Jamaica's World Indoor Championship qualifying meet. We'll see how that plays out, but that means that Kishane Thompson does have to run at this meet, or he at least will be running at this meet. And as Coach Francis said, as long as he is healthy and selected for the team, he will compete in his first World Indoor Championships. So, couple things that this indicates for me, and maybe a couple questions as it relates to why he's actually doing this. Number one, it indicates that Kishane Thompson is healthy. There would not be conversations or discussions about him running World Indoors if he wasn't healthy. I know after the Astana meeting, there was a kind of a question because he didn't, after he finished the race, he kind of landed a little bit wrong. He was sitting on the track, looked like he was injured. He was perfectly fine. After the race, we did find that out. And based on now, it seems like he is healthy. That to me is the key. There would be no reason for him to go to World Indoors. They would just completely cut it out. They would just completely skip the indoor season if he wasn't actually healthy. So that gives me a lot of confidence in, his capabilities and his motivation going into 2025. I also do think this indicates that they saw some positives from the 6.48 and from the 6.56 that he ran, in Jamaica and then followed up in Astana. Yes, people maybe were a little quote unquote disappointed for whatever reason because he ran that 6.56. It wasn't a 6.48. They thought that he should be running 6.4 low or whatever it is. But clearly, Coach Steven Francis sees, listen, this was a good indicator. You started off well, you went indoors, you traveled, you did all of that very well. Let's see what you could do going into your next championship. So I really, really do like that. And it does lean towards a positive indication on where he's at. Now, why are they doing this? Why are they even taking the time to run indoors? Why don't they just cut out, the indoor season and focus on the outdoor season, considering someone like Kishane, we've seen him as injury prone over the past couple of years, considering he's, just getting his footing into the global, professional scene in a sense. Last year was really, his breakout after, a couple Diamond Leagues at the end of 2023. 2024 was a real showcase of like, okay, Kishane is here. So why run indoors? Well, number one, of course, this is just my opinion and my thoughts. Number one, this gives him more experience at the biggest stage. Like I've been saying for the past year or so, Kishane Thompson is very new to competing at global championships. Before last year, he had not been to a World Championships. He had not been to an Olympic Games. He had not even been through 3 rounds of Jamaican trials. Remember, 2023, Kishane Thompson, he only ran the first round of Jamaican trials in the 100 and then just dropped out. That was it. We saw that Stephen Francis was talking about, listen, it's a long-term plan. Got to 2024, 3 rounds of Jamaican trials, 9.78 seconds, gets the Olympic Games, 9.79, gets a silver medal. That was his first time at an Olympic Games or a global championships. So I think they want to get a little bit more experience, take advantage of his healthy presence right now, and see if they can capitalize, build on his motivation, build on his confidence, build on his ability to face the best guys in the world. Now, I know that some of the other best guys are not going to be competing, but I think that experience is going to be huge for Kishane. Number two, I also think that they want to continue to build off of, the indoor season in terms of training, in terms of execution, in terms of things that they're working on, using World Indoors as a training ground. Now, that's going to sound kind of strange where it's like, you're going to the World Indoor Championships to train. But remember, there's still things that Kishane Thompson, probably needs to work on in terms of his technique, in terms of his execution in a race. 60 meters is only one part of a 100-meter dash race, but Stephen Francis probably sees this as a great opportunity to combine the two of getting the experience, international experience overseas at a global championships, and to get a little bit of practice to work on things, to understand what he needs to do when he goes outdoors and translates it into the 100-meter dash. That's what I do think, they're probably thinking about when looking at World Indoors. And then probably Kishane as an individual, he probably wants to get out there and compete. He probably, is motivated by the competition, by the fact that, he's becoming a bigger and bigger and more well-known name. And he wants to get out there, put his, feet to the fire and compete against some of the other best guys in the world. Compete against some guys who are really high quality in the 60-meter dash. So I don't know. Those are just my theories as to why he actually does want to go to the World Indoor Championships. But it's going to be really interesting, and I'm excited to see him pull it off. At least maybe get to World Indoors, maybe run 6.5 low, or at least just get the competition going. Now, I do like the fact that Kishane is running, but we're not going to see so many top athletes running. We know that Christian Coleman is not running. We know that Noah Lyles is not running. We're not going to see some other athletes who might be some of the best in the world, but you might see Marcel Jacobs, potentially. I know he's going to the European Indoor Championships. Maybe he'll go to the World Indoors as well. We also might see Ronnie Baker. He has to qualify for USA. We also might see Trayvon Bromell. We might see some other guys on the starting line for World Indoors in the 60-meter dash. But regardless, I do like the fact that Kishane is taking the opportunity to try and go for World Indoors. And then we'll see what goes after that, how he translates it outdoors. But let me know what you think about Kishane Thompson, trying to go for the World Indoor Championships to run the 60-meter dash there. Is that a good idea? Do you think that maybe he should instead just skip the rest of the indoor season and only focus outdoors? Or do you think him getting some experience competing in the 60-meter dash indoors is going to really help him translate to the outdoors in the 100-meter dash? Let me know what you think. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Always appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching.